Join me today as we cover very important topics that arose in the latest episode of Alien Earth. Things such as what happens when you decide to lead an assault on an island fortress and your inside man is a teenage boy that you failed to give very mission critical information to. Or what happens when you piss off the one person that can control the xenomorph. Or what happens when you manage to piss off a machine with the mind of a child that is several times stronger than a normal human being. This was definitely the, mess around and find out episode. Yep. Join me as we talk about all these things and more on the latest episode of Alien Earth. This is the Geek Cabal channel. If you've not been here before, my name is Bobbie, and today we're going to be talking about episode 7 of Alien Earth. The episode title is Emergence. I guess that fits, but yeah. So, before we go into spoilers, as I said, this is the consequences episode, I guess, maybe? This is the penultimate episode. We have one more to go after this. So, this is where the plot is finally starting to come to a head. This was a short episode compared to the others. Most of the others ran well over an hour. This one was only like a few minutes over an hour. So I'm assuming the next episode is kind of long, but I could be wrong. So, I don't know if there's enough time in one episode to wrap up the important things that need to be wrapped up, assuming that there's no plans for a season 2, because I don't know if there are plans for a season 2, because I'm under the impression this is supposed to be like a self-contained, one and done kind of thing. I guess we'll find out after the end of the next episode. Depends on how many people are still left alive, because the body count, it rose dramatically in this one.
These people are dead, Burke!
Not going to go into that until I get to the spoiler section, but yeah. So, without going heavy into spoilers, there are the culmination of everyone's machinations are starting to arise, starting to come into being, and it's clear that certain characters have plans and designs beyond what we're seeing towards who knows what end. But yeah, so if you watched the last episode or heard me explain what happened in the last episode, then it won't come as a surprise to know that by the end of this episode there are there are 2 xenomorphs on the island, and one is already quite enough. The second one, collectively, the 2 of them are probably going to pose a problem, and I have a theory about how that's going to resolve.
Big things have small beginnings.
But, yeah. I didn't feel like anyone that's supposed to be competent did anything tremendously incompetent. Unlike 2 episodes ago with the spaceship. Yeah, I mean, the only people that do anything remotely incompetent are 2 of the kid robots. And they're kids, so... now, Morrow trusting that the one was actually going to do everything he asked him to do, without telling him a very crucial bit of intel, that was probably a mistake. In fact, I'm going to go so far as to say that was definitely a mistake.
Did IQs just drop sharply while I was away?
Now, he knew going in that, things could go bad, because he told Miss Yutani in the last episode that, it's iffy. So, yeah. And I do think now more than ever that it's going to have to end with them nuking the island or something, because there are way too many people that know about the xenomorph in this episode. So, a lot of them have to die, or all of them have to die, especially if there's no season 2. So, we'll see. Well, they don't all have to die, but they can't be around the events of the other movies. So we have to figure out some way to remove them from the equation. And there's plenty of ways. They just go off into space if nothing else. But yeah, so that's something to consider. Other than that, production quality still looking great. Decent action scenes in this one. Get to see the xenomorph cut loose and cut some body parts loose. We're seeing some action for one of the other aliens, the eyeball alien. So see where that goes. Have some comments about that in the spoiler section. But yeah, so I am looking forward to the finale. So I think by and large the show's been good. I'm looking forward to the conclusion. Don't know if there's going to be, like I said, season 2. Gotta see how it ends, I guess. So, that's about all I have before I go into spoilers. So if you're bailing out here, because you don't want to hear spoilers, I would ask you to like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. You know, it's YouTube or possibly TikTok if Jim's got the stuff over there. But, yeah, I'm going into the spoilers now. It's danger ahead. Spoilers. Okay, we're in the spoiler zone. You've been warned. Here we go.
We're on express elevator to hell. Going down.
So, we find out that Isaac, formerly known as Toodles, is definitely dead. Starts off with them kind of cleaning up the lab and recapturing the flying bug-like things that ate him. And Kirsch tries to kind of explain to Cavalier what all's happened and shows him the security footage and everything, that the eyeball thing had masterminded the whole attack. And so now Cavalier is obsessed with the eyeball thing because it's shown these signs of intelligence. So then Wendy comes in and sees Isaac, that he's dead. And she's like, that's not supposed to happen. You told us we couldn't die. I'm like, well, you know, if you're violently murdered, I guess you're still going to die. So, had that happen. And then they initially were kind of like not letting her out of the room. And she started doing the warbling noise to the xenomorph. And it started banging its head up against the glass. And they realized that she could control it. And so they let her go. Then Cavalier tells Kirsch to get to the other kids first because obviously she's going to go tell them that Isaac's dead. So, while she's off doing that, Slightly, who is the one who's being manipulated by Morrow, is trying to hide, what was his name? A lot of notes on this one, folks. Trying to hide Arthur's body because he's got the facehugger on him. And he tries to feed him water or something, which doesn't quite work. The facehugger like starts constricting more around his throat. And then Smee comes in, and he gets roped into things with Slightly. So, as they are trying to get the body out, Wendy goes and she talks to, what is her name? Nibs. And Curly is also there. Nibs is the one who had her memories altered in the last episode. Curly is the one who wants to be the number one girl. So Nibs decides to go along with them to escape. So Wendy's brother, Joe, got the boat codes and everything from Arthur. So they're going down there to try to escape. And they make Curly swear that she won't tell anyone that they're going to do that. So Wendy interfaces with one of the screens and is able to like use it to go through the computer system to get to the security in the lab and lets the xenomorph loose. And it proceeds to murder everyone down there. So now it's loose on the island. Then Slightly and Smee, they're taking Arthur somewhere. They have to hide from a patrol. When they look back, his body's gone. Then the facehugger falls out of a tree, and then he's there, and he's like, hey guys, what are we doing outside? And they make up some baloney story about a gas leak or something. And they're like, hey, we gotta go down to the beach, that's where your wife is. So they go down there, and they're getting closer, and finally Arthur's like getting some flashes, and he's like, hey, something's not right here. And they kind of try to reinforce their story. And he's like, guys, I'm going to tell you something. Like, kids aren't good at lying. Like, they have to learn how to lie. And you guys are still learning. Like, I can tell that you're lying. And so they ultimately he's like, hey, look, you know, things of whatever's happened has happened. You know, like, you're just going to keep making up more and more baloney. Just come clean, and let's all go back. So they start heading back, and then the chest burster tears out of him. They don't catch it. It goes off into the jungle. Then they take his body and meet up with Morrow. Morrow's like, where's the creature? And Slightly's like, hey, you didn't tell me that this thing was going to hatch another monster out of him. Like, you told me this, this, and this. I did my part. Like, you didn't tell me anything about that other monster. And so that is the critical bit of intelligence that Morrow did not give them, for understandable reasons, but, like, that was mission critical information. You know, like, you're dealing with a kid. A kid's not going to put two and two together that what you wanted was the creature and not Arthur's body for whatever reason. So he takes them and they proceed on inland. Then you don't see who it is, but Kirsch captures the infant xenomorph. Wendy, her brother, and Nibs get ambushed by a bunch of Weyland-Yutani commandos that came in with Morrow. And then she does a little bit of whistling, and the xenomorph tears them all apart. And Joe is not overly enthusiastic about the fact that his sister just ordered this alien creature to kill a whole bunch of people. And she seems to be totally fine with it. And so he's beginning to have some doubts. Cavalier is the xenomorph escapes. Well, he's figured out the xenomorph has escaped out in the jungle. Does not know that Kirsch has the younger one yet. Cavalier is now obsessed with the eyeball thing, and he goes to confront the goat. He's like, oh, it's a shame we can't communicate. And he holds up the palm of his hand. It's got 3.14 on it, and he's like, in our language this is pi. Like, these are the first three digits. Like, any advanced civilization should know what this number is. What are the next three digits? And then the goat communicates what the next three digits are in its means that it has to communicate. And this is where his kind of second in command, the older guy, tries to warn him, like, we can't let this thing out. Like, we're spreading these things too far apart. The danger of one or more of them escaping is increasing dramatically, and we definitely can't let this one escape because it might get into the human population. And Cavalier's like, actually, that's an excellent idea, but not the population. How about just a human, so that we can actually communicate with it, because the goat can't communicate with vocal cords. And so he's like, initially, he wants one of like the bacteria scrubbers or somebody there, someone with real low intelligence, so they can see the contrast. And he's like, no, wait, I know the perfect person. And you never come back to that thought. My theory is that he means Sylvia, the psychologist, because he thinks that she betrayed him, and he's already fired her husband. So, you know, my guess is that's who he thinks is probably the best bet. But we don't see that play out yet in this episode. So, Kirsch manages to capture Morrow and the two boys now. And so he shows Morrow that he's got the xenomorph, that he's won, and then he arrests him, captures him. Doesn't have power to arrest, you know what I mean? Captures him. He might have power to arrest, I don't know. Captures him, and they take him into confinement somewhere. He tells the two boys that they're grounded, and then he has the xenomorph now. And then Wendy and her brother end up, she tells the xenomorph to kind of hide and follow them. They end up down at the boat, and that's where they get ambushed by the guys that Joe used to be in Joe's unit. They got moved to the island a couple episodes ago. And so they're holding them at gunpoint, and Wendy starts to kind of talk for the xenomorph, and Joe stops her. But Nibs has a stuffed animal or something. And so one of the guys makes the mistake of tearing away from her and throwing it off the boat. Then she jumps on him and grabs his face with her hand and tears off his jaw. And yeah, turns out you really don't want to piss off a machine that's several times stronger than you, that has the mind of a child inside of it. So then one of the commandos starts shooting it, and starts shooting Nibs, which does nothing. And it's not until Wendy's brother Joe shoots it with the electric charge portion of the gun that seems to fry her. And so Wendy's like, what did you do? What did you do? And that's kind of where everything ends. So Kirsch has the young xenomorph. The bigger xenomorph is kind of just out on the island watching Wendy. Presumably she's about to be arrested. And yeah, so everything looks like it's in Kirsch's favor at the moment. Still don't know what his end game is. Who knows? Wendy seems to be just fine using the xenomorph to just murder people pretty ruthlessly. Don't know if that's old Wendy coming through, or if that's just she's been in a robot body too long and she's starting to think more and more like a robot. So yeah, we have one episode left. Don't know where everything's going. I do think that they're going to nuke the island, because either that or what's going to happen is Wendy's not going to be able to control both xenomorphs, and they're going to die fighting each other, because one's going to try to attack Wendy and the one she controls is going to try to save her, because they do seem to have bonded. So Kirsch, I don't know. The trailer showed Morrow missing one of his eyes, so maybe Kirsch is going to get on that comment of popping one of his eyeballs. We'll see on that. I don't think Cavalier is going to survive the next episode. I don't know if he's going to randomly be killed by the xenomorph, or if one of the other creatures is going to end up killing him, or Kirsch is going to end up killing him. It'd be nice to see all the creatures, like what they do before the end of the episode. I don't know. If there's not meant to be any other season, a lot needs to get wrapped up in this next episode. And I don't think they've got the time to do it. But we'll see. So, yeah. That's pretty much where everyone stands at the moment. So, yeah, so Isaac is dead. Nibs is probably dead, because he's getting fried with the electrical thing. Arthur is dead. And we're down to 4/6, 2/3 of the kids still around. We'll see. But yeah, that is all I have on this one. So, folks, want to let me know down in the comments what you think. You guys watching the show? Do you have any thoughts on the show? Do you think the finale is going to be good? Did you like this episode, etc., etc.? Have you seen any major flaws with the canon about trying to fit this in somewhere? I haven't really noticed anything, but I see people saying that it's ignoring Prometheus and Covenant, but I don't really know how it would incorporate them at this point. So, I don't know, you got me. But anyway, that's all I got. So, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Sharing and commenting helps grow the channel. I'd like to thank everyone who helped us get over 575 subscribers recently, and we're on our way to the, hopefully, short burst it'll take to get to 600, but we'll see. But yeah, that's all I've got. So just remember, in space, no one can hear you scream.
Game over, man.